What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Lambo Plays podcast, episode 77, UFC Vegas 82. I'm your host, Mike, along with my co-host, Timothy Troiano this week. 14 fight card. I'm loving that. Big card, early start. We don't have to stay awake till 2 in the morning. And for you Eastern Standard Time people, probably 4 in the morning. Tim, are you ready for a 14 fight card? We haven't had one like this in a long fucking time.
This is a big one. Yeah, I'm ready, man. How about you?
When there's UFC, when there's fights, I'm always ready. Good day today in Bellator. I'm happy for that. There was a lot of taping this week, dude. I said it earlier on my spaces when I did that spaces breakdown. Fucking lot of fucking taping this week. I'm very tired. We do have a week off next week, so Thanksgiving is coming up, so happy Thanksgiving to everybody in chat. And let me go over to chat and shout them out, Tim. First guy in the room, Mushroom MMA. What's up, Narco? One more sleep. Let's cash those tickets. And he says the king of splits is back in his throne. Yes, he is. EHG, can't wait. After losing mad bread these last 2 weeks between soccer and boxing, he's ready to make some money on the UFC. Thank you, my man. Bob Spigermans. Sorry.
I'd say the J is silent.
Yeah, Spikermans. Yeah, sorry, man. Nice to have you. Kristen is in the house. Narco Tim in chat. Time to piss the bookies off. Always. We're always here to piss the bookies off. Luis, what's up, my man? Thank you for joining. Craig Crowley, what is up, my man? I appreciate you. Double flush. I'm feeling a huge Lambo parlay. Yes, indeed. It is going to be a huge. When I say huge, it's going to be a huge Lambo parlay this week. Jesse Q, what is up, my man? Happy Friday, freak shows. Yes, sir. Right, Spiking, what is up, gang? Looking forward to seeing Narco and Tim cooking up this card. Yes, let's cook it up. Joshua Frick, my man in the house. Daniel Lynn, another friend of the show. Thank you for coming on. Victor De Jesus, always on. What is up, my man? Thank you. What else we got here? Christian, what is up, man? Let's make that money. Mr. D is in the house. Prince of Mischief, always in here, always supporting. What is up, my brother? Fresh Gambles, what is up, my man? Happy Thanksgiving week to yourself as well and your family. Quiz, let's freaking go, my man. Let's get it right. Who else we have in here? Zell. All right. 57 of you already in here. Hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and fucking go to Twitter, retweet. Let's get some people in here. The drinks are flowing, by the way, guys. It's sake straight from Japan, and this little drink is for you, man. This is one of the best sakes I've ever freaking had, man. Shout out to my guy, Jared Braun. He's at the LFA fight card. He's fighting, I think, in a couple of months. So shout out to him. Appreciate him. Thank you for this nice little gift that he gave me straight from Japan. All right, Tim, a lot of fights, bro. Big breakdowns. Are you ready? 14 fights. We're going to start with the first fight of the night. It is in the flyweight division. It is the 13-5 Charles Johnson versus the 11-0 newcomer Rafael Esteban. What do you have here, Tim? First fight of the night, first Lambo of the night. What do you got?
So I think Esteban's going to have some success early. I think I'm looking to play Charles Johnson live as opposed to betting his money line. I think Esteban's going to come out. He missed weight. I think he grappler is a situation where I'm not sure that he's quite the grappler that Cody Durden, and I definitely know he's not the grappler that Machado is from the rinse and repeat takedowns. And I just don't know a lot about his cardio and how he's going to kind of handle these situations. So I'm going to take a stab again. This is like a passion of mine, losing money on Charles Johnson late round props. So hope he cooks him in round 2 and round 3. They're pretty good lines because he hasn't been finishing anybody. So give me a small stabs at the round 2, round 3 for Charles. Hopefully he cooks him late.
We are cooking this week with the energy. I've been talking to him. He told me he's had a great weight cut. He's in great freaking shape. He even said it on Twitter. He's got the best weight cut in his life. He was on weight yesterday, I think, or yesterday night or whatever. He was just feeling really good. And this is a fight that he needs his cardio, man. He needs to use his cardio as his weapon in this fight. And Rafael Esteban, he starts out fast. He starts out hot. He wants to get you down. He wants to ground and pound you. He wants to get you out of there. You know, he's been to decision. Don't get me wrong. But honestly, he's never faced a defensive wrestler like Charles Johnson or a scrambler like Charles. Johnson's not going to play jiu-jitsu off his back with this guy. He's going to try to get up. And this guy's job is to rinse and repeat and get takedowns, right? And I just don't think he has that in him like a guy like Cody Durden or a guy like Muhammad Makayev. He doesn't have that in him, this guy. And missing weight, and you could see, dude, like I was really paying attention because he was literally waiting, looking over his shoulder for help, walking up the stairs to the scale. Like this guy was severely depleted, and he still missed weight by 2.5 pounds. Last fight, his whole weight cut was botched. I don't know if he missed by 8 pounds or whatever. He just completely botched the weight cut. This guy obviously is struggling to get to 125. And that's a big problem for him, man, against a guy like Johnson. Yeah, Johnson's not the biggest puncher. He doesn't sit down on his punches. You know, he's not the best grappler. He's not the best jiu-jitsu guy, but he's a well-rounded fighter. And his arsenal, his main weapon in his arsenal is his cardio. And he needs to use it in this fight. He needs to put the pedal on the metal on this guy. Every time he defends a takedown or he works back up, he needs to go right in this guy's face. Kick him, teep kicks to the stomach. I love the teep kicks he uses. Teep this motherfucker to death in the stomach, dude. And get that finish late. I like round 2, round 3 here. I'm going to donate again for round 2, round 3. But I'm telling you guys, this is not a donation this time. We're cashing these tickets at plus 1,400 or plus 1,900. And I'm also playing KO. I'm sprinkling a little bit of KO 2-3 because I think he's going to cook this guy, honestly. Esteban has showed me that he tires out in fights. He slows down. And those are in fights where he's really gotten his way. You know, I don't think he's going to get his way for, you know, maybe early, but that's it. So, yeah, I like CJ here. Full camp, great weight cut, all the right things he's been saying. I think it's the last fight on his contract, bro. He needs to fucking do well. He needs to win here. So let's go, Energy. What's up, my man? Die Hard MMA in the house. People forgot that CJ hasn't had a full camp. Wasn't healthy. Yeah, I know all that. Yeah. We're getting the full power of energy here. Hopefully he does it for the people. He's sick as a dog, guys. Give this guy a shout out. He's still better, bro. He put it. Clint was, yeah, he was very sick. So hopefully you feel better, my man. Positive vibes, a lot of positive vibes from everybody. Uncle Wheezy in the house. What's up, my man? I bet CJ at 135. Let's get on that CJ train. And yeah, fight number 2, lightweight division. It is the 13-5 Nicholas Mota versus the 16-6 Trey Ogden. And let me take this one here. Ogden's a weasel, okay? That's the first thing I can say. The guy is going to try to weasel his way to a decision. I don't see much finishing ability in him in this fight. Maybe a submission, but I honestly don't see it. I don't even think he's probably going to grapple. He hasn't shown that he wants to grapple. He wants to kickbox. He wants to stay on the outside. He wants to make it a boring point fight type of decision. And, you know, Mota probably won't oblige to that. Like, he's going to come in and try to throw big shots. At the end of the day, I think that the volume is going to be probably coming from Ogden just because he kicks a lot. He throws a lot of stupid shit and nothing with real power or fight-ending intentions. The guy has, I mean, this is the first guy that I've seen with 22 fucking fights, Tim. I think this is the first for me. 22 fights, not one knockout, and he's never been knocked out. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? This guy's the ultimate weasel, and, you know, he's a smart fighter. I'll give him that. He's a very smart fighter. I don't want to disrespect him. He's a good fighter. But at the end of the day, he earned that nickname, the Weasel. And I think this is going to be a Weasel type of fight. And when you talk about Weasel, you have to talk about split decision. So split decision is plus 550. I I think this is a Weasley type of fight, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with here. Split decision plus 550.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to add very much to what you just said. Um, to my notes are pretty funny. I laughed when I read my notes on Trey Ogden. I said he's scared of fighting. It's like it's basically it. Like it's like he's in MMA, but I don't necessarily know if I'd call him a fighter. You know, like he just doesn't seem to want to get into a fight, even though he's in an octagon with another male that can kill him all the time. So. Yeah, and the other thing is he's gotten 2 takedowns in 3 UFC fights, so it kind of goes along with your, sub. He does have a lot of subs on his record, but in the UFC he has not been a proactive grappler at all. So yeah, I'm end split, greasy shit. Mota maybe has some moments. Trey's going to avoid the fight. I've noticed that Mota doesn't do well with people who don't come at him, so that I just think is conducive to the split as well.
All right. Andrew Peden, straight from Scotland. What is up, my man? He says, appreciate the content. We appreciate you in here. Thank you very, very much for joining us. For Bellator tonight, I took a shot with Jason Jackson. Yeah, I got some Jason Jackson plus 350, so I got reverse CLV, but we'll see what happens. Moving on, fight number 3. It is in the bantamweight division. It is the 14-8 Lucia Pudilova versus the 8-2 Aileen Perez. Timothy, you get the best fight of the night here. Give us your breakdown.
This is a shit show. I mean, it's Pudilova or a pass for me at the current line. Perez is a future fade for me. Just think that just the gas, there's just a bunch of red flags from her. I just don't think that she's great striking. She seemed to gas in every fight. I think also with Perez, it's like the thing that concerns me about Pudilova versus her in this situation is Perez has fought at 145. She's now fighting, 145 before. And then Pudilova's fought at 125 before. So just there's going to be a significant size difference there. And I think the physicality, at least early, is edge on Perez. So I have a few on this one. I think the round 3 for Pudilova has got to be a bet at plus 2,700. I think also the points for Pudilova is not bad at plus 250, but I think a draw is possible here too, because it could be a 10-8 in just a beatdown in round 3, but then Perez survives. But I could see Perez winning the first 2 rounds and having a draw potential. So I don't hate any one of those. Definitely looking to fade Perez. I think that this is probably not the time, but I just think it's Pudilova a pass for me.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of key things here. Perez, obviously, I think she missed weight by half a pound. I don't know if she weighed in again and made weight, but I think she missed by half a pound. The other thing is, you mentioned, she fought at 45. She's a bigger girl. 35 is probably her weight class, but Pudilova, she is taller than Aileen Perez, but she's a lot thinner than her. I don't see the thickness in Pudilova like I do with Aileen Perez, right? And Aileen Perez is honestly very, very strong, it looks like, in the cage. Okay, everybody's shitting on her last opponent, that she took her down a bunch, Ashley Evans-Smith. But, Ashley Evans-Smith hasn't really been ragdolled like that in the UFC. And she has a ton of UFC fights. She just hasn't against anybody. And all of a sudden, Aileen Perez just ragdolls her. I think she had 10 takedowns, dude. She was literally tossing her all over the place. She looked like she was way stronger. And then you watch Pudilova, not in the UFC. I'm not going to talk about the UFC fights, but against Bernardo in Octagon, she absolutely got ragdolled by that chick on bottom for minutes on end, not moving off bottom. For me, that's a bad look, right? Antonino Shevchenko,
that's the one.
W is a bad look, right? And I know Aileen Perez, okay, she got subbed, but she got stubbed by Stephanie Egger, man. She's a good grappler. Antonina Shevchenko is not a good grappler. She should not be subbing you. So at the end of the day, I was torn here, to be honest. I was torn to play Perez KO or sub. I'm gonna go with KO more because I do think she gets to get these dominant. I mean, what she did to, let's be honest, like there was portions of Ashley Evans Smith fight, like she almost finished her. Like she was landing good fucking ground and pound on top and just smashing her. Like, could you not see the same here where she ragdolls this girl, gets dominant position, just lands on her? I can. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, 650, I probably wouldn't play it outside of a Lambo. Like I'm giving you a Lambo that I think maybe has the best value. I just don't like this fight, like in general with these prices. But if there's anything that I would bet, it would be that bet right there. Aileen Perez by KO at plus 650. I just think she's the more violent girl too. Moving on. Fight number 4. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 8-3 Lucas Alexander versus the 13-3 Jekka Serra. And I'll kick this one off. First off, Lucas Alexander missed weight. Missed it by 2 pounds. Jekka Serra dropping from 155 down to 145 here. Going up against Lucas Alexander. I think the line is off. I'm going to say that first. Like, I don't think Lucas Alexander should be minus 550. And it just keeps going up. I mean, it's 590. It's 600 in some places. It's pretty damn crazy for me to see that. I don't understand a striker versus striker being minus 600. And I think Jekka's strengths are striking. Like, he's a terrible grappler. Like, if I knew Lucas Alexander had takedowns in him and grappling, I would say, okay, minus 600 is fair. I don't see any of that on tape from this guy. I can't believe that he's going to sit there and try to shoot and grapple. So with that being said, I think this line's way off. First off, a Lambo in and of itself is just playing Jekka Serra money line, to be honest. The problem is I think that Lucas Alexander is a much better striker, like technically speaking. I think he can land more. He's a little bit longer. And his decision prop is sitting at plus 260. I honestly think that's how he wins. I mean, I don't understand why this line was at 1.5. Maybe because of Jekka, like maybe he can land a big shot. But outside of that, why is this 1.5? Like Lucas Alexander has 3 KOs, guys, in 11 fights. He's got 3 KOs. That's it. And Jekka, you know, against Jubilee, yeah, it's a ground and pound knockout, but it's not on the feet. It's not a KO like he got KO'd on the feet. He's never been KO'd. He's been subbed. So it's like, for me, it's like, I don't know. I think this fight goes the distance. Plus 260, Alexander on a minus, you know, if they're thinking he's that big of a favorite on the feet, well, then plus 260 by decision then is where I'm going to go. But honestly, probably going to jump in on Jekka money line at some point. And that might, in and of itself, it's going to be a Lambo play. So, yeah, that's it for this breakdown. What do you have, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, there's questions. Obviously, he's coming down in weight, so we'll see how he deals with the cardio and deals with the chin at coming down weight. But I'm with you. I think round 3 or points for Lucas would be the way that I would go. Round 3 is plus 850, and as you said, the points is plus 650 for Lucas. Nothing really huge to add. I think if you're on Jekka, I wouldn't, like you said, the money line is a Lambo, but 11-1 on him by KO. He wings bombs. He's extremely like he's wild. So maybe he memes him, but I kind of think that's his path to win the fight, to be honest. But yeah, it's not a terrible line if you're on Jekka. I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Alexander is decently tough, so. But yeah, Jekka lands. I mean, he throws very, very hard. I mean, he absolutely iced Wan Bin Kim. I mean, he put him to sleep. So yeah, I mean, he hits hard, and that was 55 too. So he's killing 55ers. I'm sure he can kill 45ers. Moving on, fight number 5. It is in the heavyweight division. It is the 7-0 Mick Parkin versus the 8-1 Kyle Machado. Timothy, what do you got for us? In this
fight card is full of so many future fades for me. It's unbelievable. Or just fades. Mick Parkin's a future fade for me. I'll never forgive him for not finishing Pogues. But like CJ, like Charles Johnson, I got to go back to the well here and go for round 2, round 3 for Mick. He's obviously going to point fight and not go for anything, destroy my dreams again. But I think he could sub him. He could knock him out if he grapples. I mean, like, I just am not huge on Kyle Machado. Don't know why he's in the UFC other than they need heavyweights. And it just seems like anybody off the street is you're in now on Dana White Contender Series. So if you're a heavyweight, so yeah, I mean, not too big. The recency bias maybe a little bit with the line, but I'm not. Machado is not like somebody that I want to be betting on at all.
Well, if you don't know, now you know. Like Dana White says, if you don't know, now you know. So I'll give you some stats or some information, okay? Since you want to talk shit about Kyle Machado, all right, Tim? He's a 5-time BFL heavyweight champion. He's a black belt in Muay Thai. He's a black belt in kickboxing. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And he's a black belt in gassing. So if you don't know, now you know. That's Kyle Machado. This guy.
Did he buy those black belts at like?
I don't know. I don't know. He's got all those. It's
just a black belt, though. It's not like an actual black belt.
He says black belt. I don't know. I'm reading his Instagram, and he's a black belt and all those things. And I don't see one of those things that he's good at. No jiu-jitsu, no fucking kickboxing. No, his boxing sucks. All his punches are wide. Like, I don't understand how this guy's a black belt in anything. But, okay, he's a black belt in all these things. But he's also a black belt in gassing. His gas tank is terrible. He was beating the shit out of the guy in Dana White's Contender Series, and he's fucking gassing. Oh, man. Mick Parkin should finish this guy, honestly. If Mick Parkin's anywhere near UFC level, he should be finishing this guy. Because, honestly, the guy, Kevin guy, from KSW or wherever, from Poland over there, that guy's atrocious, man. Like, he was death gas too, and he completely sucks. So it's like, for me, it's like, this is a great fight for Mick Parkin, bro. Like, do your thing. You're much faster. You're the cleaner striker. You're the better grappler. I just feel like Mick Parkin's much better than Kyle. I mean, Club and Sub Podcast John is saying Mick Parkin. Bro, there's no bigger bum than Kyle Machado. I'm sorry. That guy's the absolute peak of all bums as far as heavyweights are concerned. But bro,
yeah, hopefully
Mick Parkin should finish this.
Yeah, hopefully Parkin kills him, and then we get
he's
a good
much better striker.
Oh yeah, he's better at everything. He's better.
And the thing that I do want to say about Mick Parkin, I mean, he's getting training with very good guys over there. So it's like, who's gonna level up, Mick Parkin or this Kyle Machado that's in Canada? Sparring the fucking guys that clean the gym and shit. Like, I don't know. Of course, it's going to be Mick Parkin. So I like round 3. I know, listen, this guy Machado is tough. I saw the Johnson fight. Like, he wouldn't give up, right? But I think round 3, KO. I'm just going to go KO. I'm flat out going round 3 KO at plus 1,500 here on Mick Parkin. I think he can do it. He's got the way better gas tank. I think he has a pretty good gas tank. He does have a round 3 finish in Ami. So, I think he could do it, man. He can finish this. This guy's, he death gasses. So if there's anybody he can finish in round 3, it's this guy. And I'm going to go with Mick Parkin here by round 3 KO. Moving on. Fight number 6. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 8-1 Christian Leroy Duncan versus the 11-8 Dennis Tuliin. So Tuliin took this on very, very short notice. Made weight, which was impressive. Maybe he was getting ready for a fight. I don't know. But the thing with this fight is, like, there's a huge athletic advantage for Christian Leroy Duncan. Like, I know people are going back to the last fight and saying he didn't look good, but man, you guys are talking about a way, way, way better technical striker than what we're looking at right here, right? Like Dennis Tuliin, yeah, he throws hammers, but he's not a better technical striker than Christian Leroy Duncan's last opponent. Like, come on. Like Armin Petrosian's a really, really high-level kickboxer. That's not what Dennis Tuliin is at. So, the problem I think that Christian Leroy Duncan had in that fight is that the kicks, like Christian Leroy Duncan's a good kicker. But guess what? Armen Petrosyan probably was a better kicker. You know what I'm saying? Like every time he tried to kick, Armen Petrosyan countered his ass with kicks. So that's the thing. Like he made him switch stances. He really became uncomfortable in that fight. And he was goofing off a lot. I didn't like that. Like I didn't like that from a newcomer to UFC, giving up his bag, showboating. Bro, you're losing the fight. What are you doing showboating? You're not even winning. And he's turning his back and acting like he's like some high-level striker. Like you're getting outstruck, bro. Why are you doing that? Change the game plan. Go for takedowns. Do something else. Don't showboat. That was like a terrible thing for me to see, like from a newcomer. Like that's bad fight IQ, in my opinion. You're losing and you're doing that. That's bad fight IQ. So with that being said, Tim, Dennis Tuliin gets subbed a lot, guys. He likes to get subbed. Christian Leroy Duncan has grappling in his pocket if he wants to use it. His sub prop that I see around is like 700. I think that's off. Like, if there's anything this fucking guy has learned, is that if you have a grappling edge, then freaking use it because you have it in this fight. Use it against Dennis Tuliin. Do not sit there and give him an opportunity to knock you out or hurt you. So for me, submission, I think, is off. I think it's 700 is a good price tag. This guy does have submissions. I've seen him go for subs in the regionals. And Dennis Tuliin, quite frankly, could be a regional fighter. I mean, this guy could fit right in with Cage Warriors, right? So Christian Leroy Duncan by sub. Not all of them have opened up this line, by the way. It's on Bet Online. It's on Bet Rivers, I think. Yeah, Bet Rivers. But it's plus 700. So I'm assuming we're going to maybe get around there or a tad bit better. Sorry, it's 800. Take it back. It's plus 800. So plus 800 on a submission here on Christian Leroy Duncan. What do you got, Tim?
Dude, it's so funny how often you and I have the same mindset on these type of fights and just looking at stuff and how we break down. I thought I just my notes. It's like sub is an auto bet anytime you're with Dennis Tuliin. It's just like anything over like plus 400 is like an auto bet for the exact reasons that you're saying. In this fight, it could be a club and sub too. It could be there's so many ways that you could do it. If he proactively grapples, I think it'll be there. Add that Tuliin has Machado like gas, and gas is pretty bad in fights. This is on extremely short notice, like 3 days. I know that he made weight, but I just think, there's just no way in the world that his cardio is better in this situation. So his cardio is terrible. So I don't hate the sub, but I think sub is great. I also think just Leroy Duncan late. The only thing I'd add is that, like, to what you're talking about with his fight IQ, it's like, dude, pump out a fucking jab. Like, just pump out a jab over and over and over and let that be, like, you're super athletic, you're quick, like, you have a 79-inch reach. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, how isn't this, like, your main strategy in striking until you can do some flashy shit? It'll also set up your flashy shit. But, like, the amount of spinning stuff that you see from him is super annoying. If he doesn't grapple in this fight at all, like, it's going to be another major red flag on the fight IQ just to mark in the notes.
Yeah, I mean, he might hurt him on the feet and decide not to grapple. I could see there's ways that he doesn't grapple, but to be honest, it's smart to grapple here. It really is. It would not be smart to just, give Tuliin the fight that he wants and the chance that he has to knock you out, right? Fight number 7 in the bantamweight division. It is the 12-6 Chad and Haenlinger versus the 15-8 Jose Johnson. What do you have here, Tim?
This is a shit show fight for me. Johnson is he's going to have huge measurables. Chad and Haenlinger is not a guy that I like to bet money on. I think that he's gotten a few lucky wins. Again, he's going to be really, really, like, way smaller in this. He's going to have a 7-inch reach disadvantage, and he's going to be 6 inches shorter. That's just these guys primarily, the edge. I think both are fish on the ground. But and Haenlinger's like been showing that he's going to try to wrestle in his tapes and stuff like that. And I just don't see it. I think if he tries to wrestle, he'll probably get subbed. They both make mistakes. So I think a fight can go a couple different ways. I think striking, again, Johnson has the edge from the size, and he's got some good power, but I just feel like the durability on Haenlinger has been pretty solid. He pumps out volume. It's kind of shitty volume, but I think the fight could end by Johnson sub, or I think the fight could be ending split. They're both good lines. Like end split is plus 600 and sub for Johnson is plus 700. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, for me here, it's like I feel like fight is close. I think those intangibles of height, reach, I mean, those are going to be very hard to overcome. And I like Haenlinger's boxing. I think Haenlinger boxing is pretty damn good. Like good head movement, sharp boxing, good footwork. I like all of that from him. But he does get hit a lot, you know. And Jose Johnson is pretty dangerous on the feet. However, the way I see this happening, honestly, and I like sub here for Jose Johnson, believe it or not. He's got very long limbs. This guy's been subbed multiple times, by the way, and Haenlinger, even though he says he's a brown belt, you know, fine, he's a brown belt, but dude's been subbed 5 times, you know, against, I don't know who these guys are, but they're from Hard Knocks. And
they're not good.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, you've been subbed by these guys? Like, okay, I know you've leveled up since then. It's 2014, you know. You've leveled up into grappling, but Jose Johnson has very long limbs, and I think club and sub is very freaking live, man. I really do. I think the club and sub, you know, it's plus 700 submission. I think Jose Johnson can sneak something in like a Darce or something, even against
Blackshear.
Who was it? Not Blackshear. Not Blackshear.
He wasn't like
Blackshear, but against Cartwright, I want to say. Cartwright, he had some really good positions against him too, you know. But I honestly think he might be able to get a sub here. You know, this is a spot where he needs to win. He cannot look like bad here, you know, and lose this fight. You know, the guy, you know, he's pulled out of, I don't know how many fights, twice. Yeah, he's pulled out 2 different fights after Dana White's Contender Series, and he went on to lose last fight in round what round was it? 1 by Twister, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't be getting twisted in the UFC, right? So, yeah, I mean, plus 700 submission. That's how I'm gonna go. I don't know what round. It could be any round, but yeah, I like the submission prop on Jose Johnson. Moving on, fight number 8. It is in the featherweight division. It is the 14-4 Jonathan Pierce versus the 15-3-1 Joe Anderson Brito. This is the one that I was kind of torn, Tim. You know, as a money line perspective, from a prop perspective, I'm really, really torn because I think this fight goes multiple ways. I have to choose the one way I feel like might happen the most, right? And the one that has more value. So Jonathan Pierce, for people that don't know, he's coming off a big ACL, PCL, meniscus tear 7 months ago. He had surgery, you know. Doesn't look like he was training a lot, honestly, from his IG. Like, didn't see a lot of training. Obviously, he didn't post a lot either. So I don't know. You know, he has to be ready. Obviously, he's back. But 7 months off of that type of injury for a guy that needs to wrestle, I just feel like it's a little too early. Maybe a tad too early. Maybe you need a couple more months. Maybe not. Maybe he's 100% and he's fine. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But I do know one thing, that his opponent is extremely strong. I mean, Joe Anderson Brito is like a tank, dude. Like, it's hard to take down early, especially early. He's very, very strong, and he's got tons of power in his hands. Like, he has absolute nukes in his hands. I'm telling you guys. If he hits you with full power, you're fucking going out like a Christmas tree. You're done. So it's like, that's why I'm torn, because Pierce is very, very hittable. And if he can't get the fight to the ground, I feel like he might get iced, you know? He's been hurt before. He's been, you know, club and sub by, who was it that subbed him? Lozon. It's a terrible look, you know? You get club and sub. Was it club and sub? I don't even remember. But, no, he was just pounded out, sorry, by Joe Lozon, which is, you know, it's a bad look. I mean, the guy is tough. He's not easy to get out of there, but he can't get hit by Joe Anderson Brito flush. I'm telling you guys. I don't care how tough he is. He's going to go out. So there's two ways this fight can happen. It can be early, where Joe Anderson Brito, I think, has all the early equity, in my opinion. Or it could be Jonathan Pierce by decision. I don't think he's finishing Joe Anderson Brito, to be honest. I think this guy is too tough. He pushes through everything. He's not going to be easy to finish, you know. And we've seen Pierce, like, yeah, he's good in round 2, round 3. He pounds a lot of, but when you give him a lot of resistance and stuff, he doesn't get guys out. He didn't get Elkins out. He didn't get fucking Christian Rodriguez out, up a weight class, right? So I think Joe Anderson Brito is kind of like the same, like Joe Anderson Brito, yeah, he gasses, but he pushes through, bro. Like, it's hard to finish this guy. And he looks fucking chiseled as shit. He looks in very good shape. I'm just going to go with Pierce. I think Pierce maybe could win round 2, round 3, and get a decision at plus 300. What do you have here, Tim?
Yeah, I agree with 90% of what you're saying. I think JSP is live for the finish in 2 or 3, just because, like, I don't know, Brito in the Bill Algeo fight gave me, like, that was the one where I was watching where I was like, man, JSP could finish in these positions. Like, he had in the second and third round, he got 2 very easy takedowns and then controlled him for like 5 minutes. I just think in those positions, I think that the ground and pound is real. I also thought the Elkins fight was absolute fucking travesty. He gets they pull him off of him. He's on the ground. He's pounding the living shit out of him. And then when they stop the fight for the cut, they stand him up. It's like, it was just fucking ridiculous, as well as they stopping the fight for the cut, like while he's beating the living shit out of him. So that fight was like one of the most tilting bets ever that I've ever lost. But I kind of think that JSP does get him in the second or third round. I am concerned, like you are, with the knee. That to me is like one of the bigger concerns, like how aggressive he is, how much explosion and power he has. I think I don't know. I also don't think that the KO is the only way that Brito can win in round 1. I think that he easily can lock up a choke. C-Rod had him in some bad spots in early in that fight as well. So yeah, I think early round 1 for Brito, and it could be sub or KO, and then late for JSP.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's another thing. Like, he can put it, you know, like, I understand Pierce gets out of these subs, but he tends to put his head in these fucking deep guillotines. And, you know, I don't think he wants to be squeezed by this guy's guillotine, honest to God. Like, I think if he squeezes the guillotine on this guy, and he's trying to fight it, probably Pierce not going to tap. I'm telling you right now. He's not going to tap. He's just going to go to sleep. Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, if he gets put in a guillotine and it's deep, I think he's going to go to sleep completely. Because, man, this guy's squeeze is not like these other guys. Like, he is built different, dude, this Joe Anderson Brito. So, yeah, let's move on. Fight number 9. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 9-1 Uros Medic versus the 11-1 Maitabek Orlabai. What do you got here, Tim? Lambo.
I don't even do they have props out on this one yet?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
So I can give mine. I can give you some props that are out there right now. That Bet Rivers has a lot of props. Depending on what you're looking at, for me, I can give mine if you want.
Go ahead, yeah.
I kind of think a weaselly slick this decision prop on Medic is something to look at. It's 575. This Orlabai is fucking tough. I'll tell you guys right now. Like, this guy is not going out easy. There's no fucking way. And it's plus 575 by decision. Last fight, I mean, it was on its way to decision, right? He finished it with a spinning back fist, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna take a shot on Uros Medic by decision here, 575. You know, he should be able to win round 3 at a good clip, right? Because this guy's coming on very, very short notice, but who knows? You know, I don't know what kind of cardio he'll have in round 3, but yeah, I'm gonna take Uros Medic round decision plus 575.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all. I think I call the dude Nanook, the Eskimo from the old high school social science survey class. Remember that one? But get the dude sitting with his wife and kid all naked in the igloo. This guy looks like that. There's just nobody can convince me that he's not Nanook. Nobody has proven this to me. I've asked a bunch of cappers. Nobody's proven it to me. So I'm just going to call him Nanook the rest of the way. I think that his path is a lot of grapple fuck and, just, I mean, he can do it too. So I'm pretty sure that he's going to have success there. Medic, the problem also with Nanook is that he doesn't really do that much on top. He does a little bit of ground and pound, but he's mainly control, doesn't really go for subs much, doesn't really try to positionally change, just likes to kind of hold you there. Medic, for me, I agree. I think the end split will be, I don't know what the line would be, but I think the end split might be good. And then the Medic by points, I think is solid. I think the Nanook points is too low. Don't want to give it. I kind of think the pick would be maybe Nanook by points, but I think the Lambo play is Medic or ends by split.
Yeah, I mean, 575 is a huge line, man.
Especially for he's fighting a durable dude.
You know, maybe he can finish this guy, but to me, the guy looks tough, man. Looks tough to finish. Let's move on. Fight number 10. It is in the flyweight. It's in the strawweight division. It is the 11-4 Amanda Ribas versus the 11-1 Luana Pinheiro. And I'll kick this one off. I like this one, Tim. I think somebody is getting cooked. You know who's getting cooked? Luana Pinheiro is getting cooked. In round 2, round 3 is 1,000 and 1,400. Now hear me out. Round 3, Ribas KO is 4,400. Don't tell anybody I told you this, but that one is really, really juicy against the big-time gasser. What do you got, Tim?
I love it, man. I love it. I have 2-3 for Ribas, and the more I think about it, I think that you're right. I like sub. I would pick sub over the KO, but the more I think about it, I think you're right that there is a potential like just great positional ground and pound and just quit job where she just puts her hands up, as well as she's defensively sound. I think the jits there is a gap between their jiu-jitsu, a decent sized gap between their jiu-jitsu. But yeah, man, I'm going to probably take a stab with you on I'll just do I'll do sub with Ribas, but I love the 2-3. I do think that Pinheiro versus Marcos is just the worst look ever. Like just the absolute Oscar winning performance there. Yeah, so I think Pinheiro gasses. I think that there's a big size advantage for Ribas as well. She's coming down weight, so that's more the chin issue. So yeah, I think Ribas round 2, round 3.
Dude, that's what I was surprised about. She's much bigger, man. Holy fuck. Bigger? I'll tell you a couple things. She's bigger. And to me, Ribas looks like she's putting on fucking muscle, man. She looks stronger. Like you could see it. You could see it in the fight against what's that chick that's built like a brick house that she fought? Viviane Araújo. Like, bro, she was muscling around, taking her down. I'm like, holy fuck. Like Ribas is legit, man. Her striking is getting better. She's got power in her hands. Like, I think she's gonna finish this, Luana. The thing that I like the most about Ribas is she's gonna pressure. She's gonna pressure her. She's gonna throw a strike. She's gonna grapple. She's going to make this girl work. The only thing that's a little scary is she can walk into something, right? Because I do think Luana Pinheiro hits hard. She hits hard for 115.
She hits hard enough to knock her out for sure. That's a concern.
And Ribas, I said in my Discord, I'm a little concerned that both of her knockouts are at 115, and she got dropped by Verna Jandiroba at 115. It's a little. I don't know if this weight cut fucks with her chin or what's going on, but I kind of feel like it does, honestly. So I don't know. I mean, her chin just got finished. She got finished in her last fight. It was at 125, but I mean, she took some big bombs in that fight from Macy Barber. I mean, huge shots before she got finished. So we'll see. I do like her side quite a bit, to be honest. I think she's the better fighter everywhere. Moving on. We're moving on to the bantamweight division. It is the 6-0 Peyton Talbot versus the 7-1 Nick Aguirre. And Timothy, this one's yours.
God, this is this Talbot dude being lined like this is just fucking hilarious at this point. people need to pump the brakes on the whole Sean O'Malley comparisons with this dude. It's a little bit early. We need to see a little bit more. I mean, I tend to think that Sean O'Malley would not lose the first round to Junior Cortez. Like if they fought 100 times, I don't think he would lose to him in one round in the first round. And Talbot did that. So let's be honest about that. This dude lost round 1 to Cortez, and then started cooking him, and kept it on the feet, and then it was basically him begging him to getting into the fight with him. So that being said, I mean, I think the guy's got athleticism. He's got the look. He's got the great locks of hair. So the UFC loves him for that. I think he probably gets, a round 3 finish here, maybe a late finish in round 2. Not too high on Aguirre. And I think he's going to try to grapple and probably tire himself out here.
Yeah, I mean, round 2, round 3 it's honestly, even though the odds are low, it's 450 and 800. I think they're a must play in this specific spot. But guys, this line's wrong, man. Like, this guy gets taken down in every fight, every single fight. Go back and watch. And don't tell me all these guys are great grapplers, because they're not. And every single one of these guys gets him down, gets his back. He gives up his back all the time, getting up. Like, he thinks that in his head that he's so athletic, he's so like flexible and stuff, like he can never get subbed. I honestly think that's what he thinks in his head. And in one fight, I think it was Ribas fight, where he got a rear naked choke on him pretty fucking deep. And it's like, dude, you can't be fighting like this in the UFC. You cannot give up your back taken down against good fucking grapplers. And I do think Aguirre has good jiu-jitsu. I think he's a black belt. If I'm not mistaken, maybe brown at least. But he has a bunch of submissions. He's got good rear naked chokes. He even had Argueda's back at one point. But Argueda, like, that matchup was up a weight class. Argueda's a very, very strong wrestler. He's hard to deal with, guys. Argueda's hard to deal with in the wrestling. And that was just a terrible matchup for him. But I think in this matchup, I'm not saying it's good for him, but he gets a striker. He gets a guy that he can actually take down, and he has better jiu-jitsu than him, I'm pretty sure. So, Peyton Talbot, yeah, he's a new shiny toy for the UFC. I understand all this. But, guys, this guy's minus 800, 900, minus 750. What the fuck's going on here? Honestly, I might look like the biggest idiot, but I'm happy to play a plus 550 against this guy who's a grappler. I'm very happy to do it. I lose, so be it. I get to bet against this guy, against another grappler in the future. And I promise you, this guy, if he doesn't improve his takedown defense, he's going to get subbed. He's going to get subbed. I have no doubt in my mind. So he's a shiny new toy now, but we'll see. Yeah, so, I mean, round 2, round 3 is like, you have to play it because you mentioned it. If Aguirre doesn't have success in the grappling, he's going to tire out. This guy's going to cook his body. He loves hitting to the body. And I don't even want to say it, but let's just put it that Aguirre can get cooked later in this fight for sure. So it is something to,
the Aguirre sub 1 line is tempting too, because of what you said. Yeah, I don't think he does it.
I think, but Tim, if he has success in the grappling, let's say he has success. Let's say he gets his back in round 1 and he has a body triangle and he holds him there. What makes it not successful in round 2? And he gets the submission in round 2, right?
No, I think, yeah, I don't think that, either one is great, but I think like you're seeing the line on the sub 1 is and sub 2 is just hilarious. It's like 30-1 and 40-1. Yeah. I kind of think like, if he's successful like he was with Argueda and the defense isn't there, man, I'm not saying it's a like.
Talbot most likely wins round 2, round 3, or maybe even round 1. Listen, he can knock him out in round 1. Yeah, he can end it. I don't know why, but the fight doesn't go as minus 150 on DraftKings, and it's pretty much holding. I don't know why. I really don't know why. It's still holding at 150. I'm looking at it. A lot of markets have come down like crazy. When you look at these lines, minus 176 FanDuel, minus 165 Rivers. Meanwhile, Bet Online had it at like 2 something, 240, 250, some crazy line, right? It's very weird. It's very weird that these lines are coming down like this. And here's another weird thing. If you really like Talbot, then you should think twice, because if this line's coming down and it's getting closer to fight goes to decision, is he going to cover fucking minus 800 if this fight goes to decision? So that's another thing to think about. But yeah, I mean, 2-3 is fine. I think just a straight play on my guy Nick Aguirre here is fine as well. Moving on, fight number 12. It is in the lightweight division. It is the 11-2 Jordan Levitt versus the 12-3-1 Chase Hooper. Another cook job. We're gonna go with the cook job, Tim. Round 2, round 3. No, sorry, I take it back. The cook job here is just round 3 for me. I'm going just round 3 plus 1,000 on Hooper round 3, and round 3 sub plus 2,000. What do you have here, Tim? I just think. Oh, let me give the breakdown. Sorry. I just think that Hooper, he's got the better cardio. He's going to keep coming. He's going to throw a lot of punches. He's bigger. He's the better submission grappler. And I think he is going to have a chance to cook this guy in round 3. So with that being said, you can't always win with slams and knees and all these weird ways that, Jordan Levitt wins. I don't think he's a good mixed martial artist, to be honest. He's not very good. But we'll see here. When you got a guy like Claudio Puelles out grappling you and wrestling you, it's a bad sign. Puelles is not a good fucking wrestler. So, I think this guy's growing a little bit. I was against Hooper last time, but listen to me. I do think Nick Fiore is a strong guy to deal with. Yeah, he cooked him, but I think Nick Fiore is strong. He's a big dude for 55, and he's pretty damn strong, and he's very, very good in jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, I mean, Hooper round 3 sub. Let's cook. Chase Hooper. What do you got?
I got the same thing. The only thing I would ask you, I think round 2, round 3 sub are good for Hooper. The only thing I'd ask you is do you think it's possible that this fight could go split at all if it goes? Just from just Hooper can play off his back a little bit. Yeah.
It could go split. Yeah.
I just think that's not a bad line as well. It's like plus 550, but I'm with you. My pick would be round 2, round 3 for Hooper. I do think that he cooks him. I do feel like the sub that Patty got on him was, he trapped his arm when he got the choke, it was a pretty good move by him as well. I don't think it was luck. I think it was a good move. I think at Hooper's also, if you're saying one of these guys is on bottom and got taken down, potential of reversal or potential of sweeping is just way, way, way higher for me on Hooper than it is for Jordan Levitt. So, yeah, man, I think there's lots of edges. They're both grapplers. They both are kind of piss poor striking. So, yeah, give me Hooper, round 2, round 3 cookage.
Sorry to the chat, man. I haven't been going over the chat. Let me go over some of this chat because I've been slacking off here. I can't put money on Johnson. I understand that he's your boy, but he always makes fights too close. Hey, it's very true. Leroy Duncan says, Prince of Mischief. Smash the like, says Glenn Bott. What is up, my man? Steven Jackson says, Johnson's not a guy that looks for a sub. Yeah, he doesn't really look for subs. Are you talking about
Jose? He's talking about
Jose looks for subs. He definitely looks for subs.
Yeah, he was not afraid to stay on the ground initially with Blackshear, even though he should have been.
Yeah, Jesse Q says you're too old to paint these mental portraits there, Picasso. I don't get it. Okay. I thought Brito beat Algio's cardio issues are overblown. Algio's a better striker than JSP. Very true. And I think he's more durable, honestly. Algio's crazy durable. Medic is good, but he gasses really my concern if I were to back him. Yeah, but the other guy's on short notice, man. He's very short notice. Only one dog hit last card. Do we see some regression here? I hope so, because I have a lot of dogs here. Yeah, screw it. Putting a few bucks on Aguirre, too. I love it. Thank you. Does pulling guard count as a takedown? No, it does not. Smash the like, says Mushroom. And with that being said, 108 of you in here. Thank you very much for being here. We will move on. Co-main event of the night. It is in the welterweight division. It is the 19-6 Jake Matthews versus the 15-0 Michael Morales. This one's yours, Tim.
So I think Michael Morales is really solid. He's a well-rounded fighter, in my opinion. the tendency for him to start off slow in fights has been the only weakness that I've been seeing in him. And then when he knows, the good thing is that when he knows he's down, he starts to pour it on. So I like Morales. There's a bunch of cookage here. I think Morales late props are good, but I also think that the club and sub is fucking live here. Like, I think that there's a very good chance, like, not only from him being just strong and being able to hit it, but I think just Matthews just does this a lot, man. He just wilts and then he puts his neck out there. He's like one of those guys that would rather get finished by sub than get, you know, it's like a Neil Magny. He just would much rather get subbed than get knocked out. And I just feel like if he starts getting hit the wrong way, I think a panic shot is coming. I also would be shocked if Morales took him down. I mean, like he took down Griffin in their fight and got some control time there. I just think he's better everywhere and a younger, more athletic, doesn't wilt. So yeah, Morales late 500, 900, and then the sub is plus 1,000. Sub 2-3 is plus 2,200. So don't hate any of those.
All right, I'm on the opposite side here, man. I'm gonna go with Jake Matthews. I have a money line bet on him. I think it's a little disrespectful, to be honest. You know, being plus 270, plus 260. You know, I get Morales is young, he's good, he's long, he's improving. It's a reoccurring theme with this guy losing round one. Like every single fight, he loses round one. Giles fight, obviously, he finished in round one, but he also got wobbled in round one by Giles, right? He loses the round one to Vertenikov in Dana White's Contender Series. You know, fight goes to decision. Yes, he finishes strong, but you can't keep doing that, Tim. This is a UFC, bro. When you start leveling up fighters, you can't keep dropping round one. It's not going to work. And honestly, you know, Jake Matthews, say what you want about the guy, you know, he's still only 29 years old. And, you know, he's put on a lot of size on his body. And when they were at face-offs, man, they were almost the same fucking size. I mean, Jake Matthews is a big dude. Don't get it twisted. And, you know, of late, Tim, he's been sitting down on his punches a lot, man. He's throwing very, very hard hooks. And I've seen this guy Morales get wobbled more than once. And I honestly think this guy's in for the taking for a knockout pretty soon. He's going to get knocked out. And his defense, he puts his hands down a lot, which I don't like. KO's 900 for Jake Matthews, man. I really believe that he can counter him and land a big shot on him and probably knock him out. You know, listen, Giles hurt him very bad. But you know what Giles did? He went to clinch against the cat fence instead of fucking trying to kill him, right?
He Trevin Giles.
So, yeah, and then when he gets hurt and he's supposed to clinch, he decides to swing it out with the guy. It's like, dude, you did opposite on both ends. What the fuck are you doing? So, you know, Jake Matthews, for the most part, he's losing to grapplers, man. Like, okay, the Semelsberger fight, no, right? But Semelsberger was kind of weird because, dude, he got dropped right away a couple of times. He was hurt really fucking bad early, but he came on in that fight, man. And he hurt Semelsberger in round 3. Like, he came on like a madman later in that fight. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I understand Morales is good. He's long. He's this, he's that. But you're leveling up here. You're facing a really good fighter. Like, Jake Matthews is not a pushover. He really isn't. And he has a ton of power. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's not a slouch on the ground. So, I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like it's disrespectful for this line. But I'm going to give the KO. I think 900 is it's pretty off, in my opinion. I think he hits very hard, and we've seen Morales hurt more than once. So, yeah, give me the plus 900 by KO. All right. Main event time, Tim. Again, guys, hit the like. Please subscribe. Appreciate all of you. Thank you very, very much for being here. And now we will move on to the main event of the night. It is in the middleweight division. It is the 22-5 Brendan Allen versus the 17-6-1 Paul Craig. And I will kick this one off. I was torn what to fucking give here, honest to God. I didn't know which way to go. I think Allen beats him flat out. Like, I think he's going to probably destroy Paul Craig. But I just don't know when. It's going to happen. I just don't know when. And I'm kind of leaning towards round 2, round 3. I'm leaning towards those rounds. It's 460 and 1,000. It could be a sub. It could be a KO. It could be any which way. You know, I'm not discounting anything right here with Brandon Allen. So could it be a meme sub from Paul Craig off his back? Sure. He's done it to many of people. So it could be, but I like the Allen side here, man. I think he's going to cook him eventually. So give me Brandon Allen plus 460, plus 1,000, round 2, round 3. What do you have?
Yeah, I agree. I think I do think it's a KO, to be honest. He could sub him because he's dumb as shit, and he would probably welcome going into the ground with him, and he's got a decent-sized ego, so you just never can assume rational thinking from these guys. But I do think that the edge on the feet is gigantic. I think Craig is, just super wild with the strikes, very hittable, hands down, not durable. So KO2 is plus 800, KO3 is plus 1,400. If you want to hedge, you can put it on KO4 as plus 2,500. I think one of those rounds, I agree with you. I think it's 2 or 3. Allen is also, I've heard the narrative on like cardio and things like that. I think the fight IQ is his biggest weakness. Like, does he slow down a little bit? Yeah, but he's fought 3 5-round fights. He lost 2 of them and he won 1 of them. Paul Craig has not seen a 5-round fight yet. So yeah, I think Allen knocks him out 2 or 3.
All right. Both of us on Allen, both of us on round 2, round 3. That does it, Tim. All 14 fights in an hour. That's pretty damn good. Thank you to everybody in chat. One last thing to do, Tim. It's time to give them our Lambo parlays. You want to start off?
Sure.
Go ahead.
So this is I did 4. They're the same 2 people. They're the same 2 fighters, but I have them both finishing in round 2, round 3. So what I did is I created 4, just so you can like kind of round robin it, basically. JSP and Charles Johnson. So JSP, Charles Johnson in round 2 each is 134 to 1. JSP in round 2 and CJ in round 3 is 179 to 1. CJ in round 2 and JSP in round 3 is 224 to 1. And then both in round 3 is 299 to 1. So I hope they both get cooks and finish both in round 2 or 3, and we cash one of these gigantic ones.
All right. So I'm basically the same, I guess. Some similar. Mine's going to be Johnson round 3 plus 1,900 and Ribas round 3 plus 1,400. It's 299 to 1. And if you want to really cook Tim, you know what to do. You know what to do if you really want to cook it, because the cooking starts when you do put it this way. Look at this. Round 3 KO for Charles Johnson, right? Are you listening?
Yep.
Round 3 KO, Charles Johnson, along with round 3 KO for Amanda Ribas, right?
Got to be like 501.
It is 1,349 to 1. That's a fucking Lambo if you haven't seen one. That's a fucking Lambo, Tim.
That is
1,349 to 1. Both of them by KO.
$10 get you 10 grand.
Imagine if that shit hits. What kind of pants off is going to be happening here?
$10, $10,340.
I love Uncle Weezy. Thank you for joining us, my man. I hope we do well for all the community. I hope we hit a lot of Lambos this week. Last week we didn't hit many. I think like two. So it wasn't a great week. Sorry about that, but guys, we've honestly been a cash cow this year as far as Lambo parlays. I don't have the stats. I wish I kept stats because I'm pretty damn sure we're up a whole bunch. next year, starting in 2024, Tim, I will start keeping stats. I will keep stats. So we're going to have to keep it to a minimum of 2 Lambos per fight so we can keep stats, so we can give people what they want. And so when someone says you guys are not winning Lambo bettors, we'll throw it in their face and say, here it is.
I actually took up until getting COVID, I don't have the Lambo like parlays, but I have the how many we got each week. So like that I do have. So
all right. Again, thank you to everybody in chat, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody coming this week. Enjoy the time off with your families. That is very, very important. Keep sane. The number one important thing in life is be happy, enjoy your family. You never know when it's your last day. I try to enjoy every day like it's my last day because, you know, when you have kids and stuff, man, it's hard, man. Like you never want to leave them, obviously. And obviously there's going to come a time when you're going to have to leave them. So that's my last thing to say. Tim, what do you have going on? And tell them where they can find you, my man.
With you every Friday night. And then I have not heard back from Sean if we were doing an early spaces. So if we do, it's going to be probably 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.
All right. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Thanks for joining, Tim. Guys, Narco Cop on Twitter. Please hit the like. Please subscribe. Also, tomorrow we will have live spaces. And then we will have a week off next week. A much needed week off for me. I'm still probably going to be taping. There's ACA, there's this, there's that, there's the other, but there's no UFC. So kind of, I don't really have to, there's a couple of things. I don't have to do my Odd Shopper stuff. And then I don't have to do this Lambo Plays podcast. So in that sense, I have a little bit more time. Appreciate each and every one of you. 93 of you still in here. Thank you very much. One last thing to say. Let's fucking cash those tickets